quotidien. C'est sur Taïwan.
SonarFeed! Woo!
Go.
Yeah.
Welcome to SonarFeed episode 254. 8 isn't enough. It's kind of like the 1980s TV show where 8 was enough, but 8 is not enough. The
Never.
Seattle Sounders are on an 8-game unbeaten run at this point, 5 games where they've won everything. I'm Dave Clark. I'm going to be playing the role of Tom Biro today. You can follow me at Better Than. And yeah, I'm going to lead the show. To my left, to your right is...
Mickey Turner, Turner ESQ on the Twitters.
To my right, your left. And up next is producer extraordinaire, director of the show.
Hello, guys. It's Adam Weigel with my fancy new laptop that you all helped me buy. Thank you very much. I can do cool things now.
This is pretty fancy, I have to say.
It's pretty cool. We're doing some fun stuff, and that'll filter into the show over time.
Yeah.
And
And next to me,
I'm Brett, B_mantle on Twitter. You probably know
did
me
I
by
spell your
now.
name right on there? Mantle?
Yes, you did.
Yay.
Good job.
and
I tried.
Well, before, and also the title of the show, which I enjoy, but makes me feel really old because someone sitting at this table was not born when that reference was something.
When is that from?
Yes, exactly.
Nick at Night.
Exactly.
Let's put it this way, Mickey. I used that joke with Mark Kastner in
not
the
on Nick
Sounder
at Night
Heart Slack
anymore.
today, and he's like, I don't get it.
Yes.
And
Fair
compared to Brett, Mark is old.
I barely get it, and
Exactly.
I'm well old enough to get the reference.
Yeah, so 8-game unbeaten run, over 5 or at 500 if you just use wins and losses, over what is known as a level record. I don't have a cute term for that, but essentially 1.3333333 repeating points per game is an exactly average soccer team, and we're over that. We're at 1.39.
Hooray.
Which would be good enough for 5th in the East, which is supposedly the better conference.
It isn't.
Unless you actually pay attention to Major League Soccer. The East is not the better conference. It just has 3 teams that are extraordinary. And one really crappy one that goes by Toronto.
I forgot something.
What's up?
We introduced everybody at this table. You know what we didn't do? Introduce all of them.
Oh, yeah, we got a camera that faces the other way.
Everybody say hello.
And when they ask us things off mic,
It might be able to pick it
might
up a
be
little
able
bit.
to hear them as opposed to having one of us actually...
Have to repeat it.
Yeah. So
Yep, there's an echo on that camera because it has a different microphone.
we'll see what happens. As always, we're going to thank the Berliner Pub here just off of 3rd and Main in downtown Renton.
Ahead of the curve.
Ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Did I get it right?
No,
Okay.
you were late.
Dang it.
They host SonarFeed for over 6 years now. And working tonight is Amanda, who is the original SonarFeed waitress.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you hear what Brad said?
Berliner's been hosting SonarFeed for a third of my life.
This is just going to be an episode where we feel terrible about ourselves.
This checks out.
I was really hoping my mental math skills weren't degrading that terribly from
Yeah,
high
no,
school.
that works.
Emily wants to know, what is the curve?
It was the S curves, which aren't as curvy as they were. 3 of us grew up right here in Renton, and those S curves used to
happens
have to
with
go
age.
20 to 25 miles an hour through them,
That-
and they were only 2 lanes wide and had no shoulder. And the improvement project is still ongoing.
15 years later.
right.
Yeah, so that's what we're ahead of. It was a marketing term that I don't think Renton actually uses anymore.
It was
But-
on a Snapchat filter.
Oh.
I think
They still
I think
use
a little
it.
bit after the filters came out, but I don't know who made the Snapchat filter.
We're going to give you a little
So-
behind the scenes info. If you're ever on Snapchat and something from Sounder at Heart pops up, 99% chance Brett did it. And
secret.
Instagram,
I
maybe-
haven't done it in a while because
We haven't-
nothing
never mind.
interesting was happening for a while, and it's really hard to make content off the same like game day thing that happens every single time. So yeah, We're going to figure that one out, though. I'm innovating and inventing.
We will figure something out. Sometimes she pops stuff into Instagram, but that is also the photogs and a certain watercolorist. If you're wondering where Tom Biro and Mark are, never mind, you're not wondering where Mark is. If you're wondering where Tom is, he is at the Pub League draft.
Oh, that's right.
Mark's also there, but he's not going to show up for 2/3 of the game, so don't draft him.
Tea.
Poor guy.
Fire.
Yeah, so
Ooh, I have an air horn for that.
you have a what? Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to get into the show now.
Yeah, let's do that.
That's yeah.
Did anybody go to a soccer game this weekend?
Yeah.
I went to 2.
I went to 2.
Wait,
I
no.
went to 2.
One
You
and
better
a
have gone
half.
to 2.
I went to 1.5.
Did you get kicked out of Cheney?
No, I
Did you get
didn't
kicked out of
decide to
CenturyLink?
go to Cheney until the game had already started. Because I saw Alex was starting, but I was in the middle of making tiny burgers and really didn't want to leave my tiny burgers at my house. So I kept making my tiny burgers and then sewed 2 poles and then got dressed and then ran to Cheney.
Did you know?
That's 4 poles.
So
Did you know that tiny burgers have their own name?
I refuse to call them their name. It's cuter if you substitute baby burgers or tiny burgers or mini burgers.
This is way beyond my pay grade.
Sliders.
Yeah. Oh.
Mickey sliders
No.
or tiny burgers.
Baby burgers.
Baby burgers. All right. Yeah. So sorry. Pause. It was. I'm going to start off by just doing a broad overview of the Seattle Professional Soccer weekend because it was a 9-point weekend. The Seattle Reign
exciting.
went to Salt Lake, where there were a total of 4 water breaks. Players were allowed to take oxygen during the game,
Whoa.
and they were essentially playing in the smoke from all the wildfires in the West. They won 1-0. Jessica Fishlock got her only goal so far this year. That's former SonarFeed host or
Guest.
guest.
We still need to get her out here again.
We're working on that a second time so she can mock me for not eating.
Oh. Yes. Technical difficulties already.
So now, wait. Since you rotated a little bit this way. Keep going. Nope, that's the wrong way. Keep going.
On-air
Keep
directing?
Going. Right there.
It's all
Right
good.
there. Right there. Thank you. It's okay. Bring me a beer. No, I don't want any beer.
We have 17 people here.
One of
watching us.
our wonderful waiters.
So the Reign are still in second. They have a game in they have games in hand with a couple teams. They are. It's pretty clear at this point that they're gonna be in the playoffs unless drastic things happen. They are still playing at Memorial Stadium, which has a brand new video board for the last home game. You can actually see replays of game action at Memorial Stadium now.
That's high
It's an
tech.
interesting use of funds, considering the state of that place.
And it got some fresh paint in a lot of places.
The old scoreboard used to tell you that it was like 43:82 minutes.
Yeah.
So it was ready, or 43:80 actually at
Yeah.
some point.
They-
too, so
They definitely needed a new scoreboard. The
New
future
stadium.
of Memorial is unknown. There will be a school on at least some of that land, but maybe not all of it. Like they might do something weird where like the school replaces half of the stands and there's still a stadium there.
Wow.
There's some funky stuff that could happen. It still might not be a professional quality, but the Reign are really good and they deserve your love and support.
yes,
The other game from Saturday was S2. I was on the broadcast. Adam Weigel was my director.
yay!
And they looked as good as they've ever looked.
They really did. Except for
Except
that
for
own
the
goal.
own goal. That was as bad as they ever looked. But they looked... what was interesting is they had maybe 5 to 8 minutes where they looked poor after Sam Rogers went down with an injury. And then that forced a defensive midfielder to be a center back and the forward to be a defensive midfielder and the winger to be a central mid. And David Estrada got on. lots of changes, but after 5 or 8 minutes, they figured out what to do, tied it up behind Henry Wingo, and went into the second half. And it was the second half where they looked amazing. The only problem was the 2 yellow cards that David Olson got as a defensive mid. One of them was the right answer, and one of them might not have been the right. But they hung on. They did well. It was really exciting. Henry Wingo, Alex Roldan, Tony Alfaro, Brian Meredith all started and went 90 for us too.
I was only there for the second half and like 10 minutes of the first half, and that was when they were really good. So I think I can take credit for that, right?
They won 2-0 while you watched.
Yeah.
Is that how they keep score?
The best part is I thought that they tied. So I thought that we tied 3-3 until like 15 minutes after the game ended. And you'd think like I would have caught on from like the victory salute. No, I literally was like, I mean, I guess they're really excited about drawing at home, and I'm personally excited for them for drawing at home. And so I thought they were just really enthusiastic about drawing at home, which I'm totally fine with. Like, I love doing the victory salute. And then someone was like, no, they won.
They won, Brett.
But it had already been taken off the scoreboard by then, and I was like, I don't know if I believe you. But then I finally caught on, and we won, which was way more exciting than drawing at home, so I like winning at home.
Winning at home is good. Henry Wingo had
great.
First half brace and had maybe, I think it was like 7 shots. He was in excellent position throughout the night. Alex Roldan worked really well with David Olson. It was it's going to be interesting because they actually will have a complete roster if we get more first teamers coming down, and then the 4 high schoolers are all going to be present starting next week. So
interesting.
They won't have a short bench anymore. Unless Bo Samrot... Well, Rodrigo is going to be back for the next game. He was suspended for this one. So that'll be... they'll be fun. Watch them.
Was Rogers' injury serious, or do they expect him to be back?
It's us, so injury reports are a little less precise than even the first team.
He was slightly limping after the match, but it wasn't terrible. It wasn't... Yeah, it wasn't Francisco Narbonne level limp who was standing next to him, so I don't know if that's a good comparison.
Tito, Francisco Narbonne actually went and did his best to take part in the victory salute while on crutches. And I asked him about it after the game. He goes, yeah, I have to, man. They won. I'm like, dude,
awesome.
I'm going to love you forever. So...
That's pretty rad.
That's pretty rad. Ray Sari is about to come back, so they'll have a defensive midfield again, so David Olson won't have to play there. So in my notes, I'm going to talk more about that later, but that's not interesting. So let's skip to...
Skipping to Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday, 2-1. Another win. That's
2-1.
9 points in a weekend.
9 points for Seattle.
Yeah.
That's a good weekend.
It's a great weekend. You can't be better than 9 points.
Not really.
And the Mariners swept a different asshole team from Texas.
Texas is terrible.
So, Dallas, Salt Lake. Who was I covering?
San Antonio.
San Antonio.
Right.
Damn it. I wish it was the Houston Dash. That would have been even better. And then we could have called it something like
messing with
Texas's assholes or...
I mean, you can call it that anyways, I think. Like, it still counts.
So,
and it's true.
You don't need the third team to legitimize it.
It's totally true, too.
Should we talk about all the ways Texas are assholes right now, or do we want to bask in the victory for a little bit longer?
Maybe bask in the victory.
I'm fine with that.
Because they look really good again for the first... well, they look pretty good all game, pretty much. The Sounders, that is.
That's Dave's basking face.
Did you get it, Lick It? Thank you.
I'm saying they look pretty good all game, as opposed to Minnesota, where they look good for the first 20 minutes and then were not very good for the next 60 or so, and then came back. This time they looked really good. Couldn't really finish. The start had, how many crosses did they have in the first half? It had to be at least 10.
Yeah, and lots of them were early crosses, usually
Crosses
from the left.
Corners, I should say.
Good old Brad Smith was all about firing in an early cross. That's as they get used to that, that's really going to help Raul Ruidiaz, as well as the far post winger, whoever that'll be, because the right mid, who that is in the future, is going to be up in the air. And even Nico should be able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, it was a pretty complete performance, I'd have to say. Like I said, the finishing, I think they need to do more to create more chances still. But, it's their, the third or fourth game with having a fairly healthy roster. And so, looks like good things ahead.
This unbeaten run has been really weird because I go into every game not expecting us to do super well. I have my concerns, which I think are justifiable for the first half or 2/3 of the season. And then after every game, we just haven't collapsed or done terribly. And I just get to the end of the game and I'm like, we did that. And it's been very weird. I just haven't realized that we've gone so long without losing. It's just been one game at a time that we just haven't lost.
Yeah, they haven't been dynamic, I would say, in any way. So, like you said, it's just kind of at the end of the game they've won and gotten the results. You're just like, okay, well, there's another one.
Step 1, claw your way up over the red line.
That's really
Step
the most
2,
important
find
part.
a way to host a playoff game. Step 3, look really good while doing it. I'm not worried about them looking good until they are above the red line.
If I'm not mistaken, we still haven't ended the season lower than 4th in the West, right?
Yeah, that's the worst.
The worst in the West is 4th. The worst in the Shield hunt has been 7th.
So, I think we should shoot for 4th in the West.
And-
How do we
and
feel about that, everyone?
4th in the West will probably be 7th overall, too.
Yeah,
How do we
'cause
feel?
The three Eastern teams.
The 3 Eastern teams are going to be 1, 2, and 3. But if
Yeah.
they're...
Yeah, I'm going for 4th in the West.
4th in the West would be a great place to be. And
I mean, I think they could probably, if everything broke right, they'd probably move their way up to 3rd even, because right now that's Dallas, Portland. Who's in 3rd right now?
Dallas,
SKC.
KC, Portland.
Dallas doesn't seem to be doing so hot right now.
They could easily
and
fall.
Portland just imploded at home. And SKC, they didn't do great. And SKC hasn't been convincing.
They're kind of like Dallas, too, in that they fade every year in the summer.
So, I think we have a good chance to do well. And I think we should take that chance and do well.
There's definitely no great team in the West. There's a lot of teams that are somewhere between okay and good.
Yeah, I mean,
there's 8 teams that are between okay and good.
It's not out of the realm of possibility if the Sounders really, go blazing. They could get up to 2nd, I think.
If they go on a Portland level run.
Yeah.
Man, to get
Because they're 9 points behind Dallas, I think, right now, who's in 1st. And I think they may have a
They're
game in hand.
7 points out of 2nd.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Portland has multiple games in hand, but again,
Trash.
they did.
Well, but
they did fall apart.
to have anywhere
last
like
weekend.
to even have close to a 50% chance according to sports club stats, we have to win 8. We have to go 8-2-1 to get a 46% chance of coming.
I think that's doable if they can win this weekend and figure out how to get a result out of Portland.
6-3-2
Because the
gives
last-
us 4th place.
I think the
42%.
that would be last 9 games are against terrible teams, pretty much.
Looking forward
Yeah.
to next weekend against the Galaxy. When I was in Orlando for a spell, I was like, "Hey, I'll watch Orlando City play the Galaxy," and that game had absolutely no defense.
Yeah.
So if any of our attacking players decide that they would like to have a goal or two, they can just wish it and they'll have it because their defense is trash.
The Galaxy tied Minnesota this weekend.
Yeah.
Sugi is essentially
At LA.
playing that style that won the Shield with the Sounders, where it's just they're going to play at a really high pace. He knows he doesn't have a Chad Marshall anchoring that defense, but or an Osvaldo Alonso that was actually good. So their goal is win games 4-3, and it's going to be a really fast pace. But I think the Sounders are getting to the place where they can run that kind of pace. It'll be
They're
interesting.
getting close. They're getting close.
That's L.A., August 18th. Midday.
Possibly no
Saturday.
Zlatan. They play tomorrow. The
He
Galaxy
might be
do.
a coward.
To play tomorrow on a Tuesday. Soccer going up on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
There are
What?
games Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
Not usually in MLS, but
MLS will never have a game on Monday. There's been
That we
one
have a
of
game on
those.
Monday, Dave.
There's been like one of the.
Yes, we have
This
one later
year?
this season
Yeah,
on
there's
Monday.
Yeah, they moved one of them.
It's in October.
Oh yeah, for the
It's a Monday.
football line reasons. That's gross.
Yeah.
Um,
What game is that anyway?
in
I
any
believe
given
it's
season,
Houston.
MLS will have a single Monday game.
I want to say Houston.
That sounds
Tuesdays
right.
are the next least frequent, but
Yeah. No, you're right. They rarely happen, but
if you want MLS teams to avoid international play, you will have games on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Tuesdays just seem weird. But I'm fine.
Champions League games are on
regardless
Tuesday.
regardless of whether or not
That's
a
true.
sports team is
Yep.
playing, Tuesdays always seem weird to me.
Yeah, Tuesdays are a weird
Just
day.
weird.
Tuesday is Thursday. I have nothing else besides that.
Okay. Okay.
So the win was awesome. We got to see Brad Smith. We didn't get to see Nuhu. We're going to touch on both of those topics.
Every time you say Brad, I think you're saying bread, and it's really throwing me off.
Brad Smith.
I swear, you're saying the exact same thing. I don't know.
Everyone's favorite scone.
Scone boys. Scone boys.
I don't.
Brad Smith. Brad Smith is our favorite scone.
Okay. Scone boys.
Brad Mantle is our favorite loaf.
A little loaf.
Why is he a scone?
Because that's a bread from England.
I thought he was Australian.
Ah. He's
Oh, yeah. Toaster biscuits.
He's
I was completely lost here.
a toaster biscuit sounds like a great insult. Like,
Oh, our network
Get
just
away
is
from me, you
going
toaster
crazy right
biscuit.
now. Crazy, not good.
No, you can get some of those. Oh, the toaster muffin. It's like an Australian English muffin.
a toaster muffin sounds like a lie.
Yeah. Okay.
I've got nothing on this.
Brad, bread, same thing.
He looked really
Yes.
good, though, obviously.
Yeah.
I saw him in practice last week, and he was running up and down. It was pretty obvious that Schmetzer was going to start him as soon as possible. And he did not disappoint. So, yeah, he will likely be starting as long as he's healthy, accepting rotation.
In ECS, whenever he would make like a run, like a run, like he was running, everyone would like kind of just like turn around and look at each other, and they'd be like, "Is that speed? Like, is that person running at a high speed? Like,
Yeah.
is that happening?"
Well, he would
It was
run
very-
at
it
a
was
high
very
speed,
weird.
and with a purpose.
Yeah.
When
When he was cutting
some
inside,
intent.
everyone kind of just like shrieked, and it was
He has a very long gait, which sometimes with the ball at his feet can be a little bit of a problem. I saw it. He doesn't have a very large touch radius. The ball got away from him
Yeah, it
because
did.
the but when he's running off the ball, on the other hand, that long gait is quite handy. That man is fast.
Yeah.
I guess he runs like national level 100-meter times.
Like Olympic.
Not
close to
quite like when people often
I
when
guess
people
Yedlin
think of
was
Olympic
Olympic.
times,
That's like Yedlin.
they generally think of the final heat of the 100-meter. Like those nations where their best show up to the Olympics and they get eliminated in the first heat. That's
Yeah.
the type of
so
time
he could
he's got, yeah.
theoretically go to the Olympics if he really wanted to.
but not for Australia because they're athletic freaks.
Okay, so theoretically he could go to the Olympics if he
With,
wanted
like,
to.
Malta.
Yeah. Well, that's fun.
I don't know why I picked Malta, but yeah.
So do we want to, since we're talking about left back, should we talk about Nuhu?
Sure, he's on the list. Let me check it off.
Yeah. Schmetzer was on radio this afternoon. He didn't have any real updates except to say that he thought that the media reports about why Nuhu wasn't playing were overblown. But maybe we should talk about those initial media reports.
Jeff Baker said that Nuhu was pulled at half for disciplinary reasons. The club had previously said it was tactical.
Which didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Well, they were down a goal. They needed goals, and Whalen has been better at generating offense historically, not this year.
Yeah. Yeah, in that context, it makes sense. But
But the original statement from the club was this, that he was pulled for tactical reasons. Jeff Baker had an article with sources that said that it was, in fact, for disciplinary reasons, which was also why he wasn't in the 18. Post-match, Coach Schmetzer said that, in fact, it wasn't for disciplinary reasons that he wasn't in the 18.
And he's not for sale.
And then unprompted said, and
He's not,
he is not
for sale. Will he be for sale in like 4 months? Or is this a he's not for sale for like a few more months than that? What are our guesses on the he is not for sale unprompted comment?
I missed that, so...
oh, no, it was as random
was
as
from
it
the
sounds.
post-game press
It was
conference.
literally
I
just-
missed that. I missed that part.
Yeah, it was literally just he's not for sale.
I mean, obviously, I think they'll sell him if they get a reasonable offer. I don't know what that offer would be right now, given his, what he needs
What
to work
number?
on still.
If you were Garth, what number
Would you accept?
is the lowest where you say, I'm selling him right now?
Probably between 1.5 and 2 million,
Okay.
and try to get a sell-on fee of some sort because he's so young. Between 1.5 and 2 million.
If you sell Nuhu, the thing is you get like if he goes for $1 million, I think it's $750,000 in general allocation money.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Is that not wrong?
No, that's
And
correct.
About
general
that is-
Says he hasn't made any
allocation
money. They have to
yeah.
recoup their investment in him, but he's only
It's
like
not much.
$150,000 that
Yeah.
he's made so far. So
And
you're going to
yeah,
get max
he's
allocation,
not-
basically.
Yeah, and with that,
They-
I think I've discovered that general allocation money is almost as useful as targeted allocation money.
It's
even
more
for
useful
cap
than
stuff.
targeted
Yeah, but I
allocation
feel
money.
like since we have all these TAM players that everyone's like, yeah, TAM, but Jam is just as delightful.
Jam.
Because it's Jam. It's GIF, but it's Jam. I don't want to say GAM is weird. I hate it. So, but because you can pay down anyone on the roster half of their salary
Yeah, so
of their cap hit with
GAM can be
Jam.
used on any player, whereas TAM can only be used on players that are making
above
the maximum.
504,000. No, 504, 750,000.
Or-
$504,750.
Basically,
On-
Jam can be used on toaster biscuits.
Theoretically,
Whereas
yes.
TAM also has an exception where it can be used on one homegrown player. The
Yeah,
Sounders have
those
yet to
rules-
use that on a homegrown player because that
How-
rule didn't exist at the time.
How is Jordan Morris on the supplemental roster?
Because that's what it took for Jordan Morris to be in MLS.
Yeah, that was
Why can MLS just make things
MLS.
up? And
The-
how long is he on there for? Like,
That is a
this
great question.
Jordan Morris is forever on the supplemental roster because we love Jordan Morris and Jordan Morris deserves the world? Or is this like Jordan Morris is on the supplemental roster until he does some good things, and then we're going to make you put him on a senior roster?
Juan Agudelo was on like the supplemental roster
Yeah.
at no cap hit for like 3 different teams
Yeah.
over a 6-year period
that-
of time. Other players have had the advantages of being a homegrown player removed over time. Why? Because, as is always the case, MLS will do what's in the best interest of MLS.
Yes.
The rules as published are guidelines, not laws.
I hate it so much.
And
Do you know
the
how
other-
hard this makes to fake GM? Like, I want to pretend to
Oh,
be
it's
Garth
horrible.
Lagerway
Yeah, like,
for
there's
fun.
never gonna be-
And, like, I sit there, and every, 5 minutes I spend on this, I have 5 new questions.
Someday
it's
I'm going to...
so bad.
I want
hate
to
it
spend
so
enough
much.
time with Brett to teach her the NBA so I can show you how awesome realgm.com is. Because in there, it's got all the rules that govern NBA trades and futures and all that kind of stuff. And so you can put together a trade with draft picks, the money, the slots, all of that. And you use drop-down menus, and boom, you can find a trade that's valid.
You cannot do that in
I don't
in
understand
MLS.
that.
Because the rules make sense. Because
No,
the
that's
NBA
not allowed. We
'Cause they
can't
don't-
have that.
NBA does not need to
The NBA
make
makes
rules up
billions.
as they go along. Yes.
and MLS does not. I mean, it's the same way when Don Garber's asked about the salary cap, he goes, the salary budget. And they even said, when he spoke way, way back in 2009, he made it clear that it was a budget because if the only way a team could sign a player was to exceed their cap and it was best for MLS, they'd find a way to make it work. Mm-hmm. So
Knowing that, when we go back to Garth's very controversial comments at the beginning of the season, it really makes you wonder what that was about. When a lot of people took it as we're not gonna make big moves like that because we don't have the ability to make big moves like that, and we
Well,
just don't
that's
have
about
we don't have the
DP
conviction
cash.
to make that. but also like
Not about the cap hit.
no,
That's-
I know, but like just thinking with that in mind, like it makes you think like what are MLS best interests? Like what are they?
MLS
could-
thinks that TV ratings and competitive balance are their best interests.
Yes, that's a fair way to summarize it.
So
I
if
would say.
Seattle is garbage and needs help, they might find a way to take a player on loan from an English Premier League side and maybe have a little bit of finagling with how it hits the cap.
Or if the Galaxy need to sign someone from Sweden
Well,
on a TAM deal.
he is only
Gustav
on a TAM
Svensson?
deal.
The
You've looked at
Galaxy
how
are
much he's
trying to
getting
sign
paid
Gustav
from MLS
Svensson?
in
Sam
the league.
Stachel had some interesting comments on Extra Time Live, making it seem like he didn't believe that was actually the case, and that they're maneuvering around to they're finagling the numbers.
Now,
his official hit, you're correct, is 1.5. He may be getting some other supplemental sources.
His
of income.
supplemental sources, though, are from merchandising and marketing deals that he signed before he signed with LA.
Yeah.
He was a Visa rep before he signed with LA. They just tripled how much he had made because he moved to the United States.
I'll just quote what Stachel said. He said, "Sure."
It's just
Right.
too much.
But all that meant was that LA, rather than drawing every game, won them 4-3 as opposed to drawing 3-3.
But yeah, getting back to MLS will do what is in the best interest of MLS, and if they need to move the rules around, they will continue to do so until they're at a point where their finances can support them having some type of set structure in place.
We are a
And
year
they're-
and a half from the next CBA.
Yep. That's
Which
gonna be
means
very
next
interesting.
year we get a bunch of CBA negotiation news every week.
So basically, all hell is going to break loose.
I mean, it's
Yeah, it's possible.
the players.
They screwed themselves in the last deal.
I
I don't know, screw themselves, but they did not negotiate to get the best deal that they could have.
Well, that
They
depends.
left a lot of money on the table.
They left money on the table, but they were able to get a form of free agency shoved through,
Yeah.
and that had never happened.
Yeah.
So, and they went into it thinking that the number one thing they wanted was a limited form of free agency. The previous CBA, the one that was 2010, I heard that the players asked for free agency for players that were over 40 or who had spent 15 years in the league.
Wait, what?
What? Is that like 3 people?
What? Over 40?
It didn't matter. The numbers were specifically concocted so
Dude.
that it would be a weak enough position. MLS would say yes, but the MLS position was there will never be free
no
agency.
way in hell.
So their
The
next
Brawl
cycle-
Dawn merchandise just dropped. Run to brawldawn.org and buy all of the shirts, which I'm going to do right now. Sorry, Mom. Ooh,
Brawldawn.org,
There's
is
a
that correct?
Christian tab and an
Alrighty,
Alex
let's
tab.
get this.
Oh
Let's
my
see
gosh,
what
this
this
is
looks
amazing. Ah,
Let's see. Nope.
guys.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so
That's not right.
It's going to be really interesting because their goal this last CBA was to find a way to get some level of
Do I
free
get the
agency.
black
wanted
shirt
to
or the
creep
white
it, yeah.
shirt?
The next goal is to get a percentage of revenue.
Yeah, what is the
You got
percentage of
baby
revenue
burgers.
spent on player salaries? Is
The
there
estimate now is somewhere between 26 and 30%.
which is obviously way down from what
Most
NBA.
other
NFL.
American
It's so
leagues
cute.
vary between 46 and 52, I think.
Yeah, I think NFL
The
maybe
NBA
paid-
has the highest at
Yeah.
51-ish.
I think the NFL came down from like 55.
And the NBA or MLB came down. No, NBA came down from 52 to 51.
Yeah.
But there is a number in American sports which basically says that players should be roughly 50%.
Yeah,
So that's going to be. I expect them to try to
get the revenue numbers.
a 50% increase in their revenue share would mean getting it up to 35% or so.
Yeah,
And would mean that basically your average player makes about 20% more.
which would be nice because
The Brawl
the
Dawn website is
supplemental and
adorable,
those
guys.
guys are only making 53, 55 right now. Get them up to around 65, 70 would be pretty good.
It all started with a dream, just like yours, Brad.
Okay, but in the last
There we
sentence
go.
of
Everybody can see
Christian's,
the Brawl Dawn
Christian's
website
story,
now.
next year are both capitalized, and that's unnecessary, and they should fix that. I might at Alex and have him fix that.
All right.
All right.
I was having some issues with my window capture on.
You know what I
on
definitely
this,
need to do?
But this is the Roll Down website.
I do like the. Those are pretty nice.
Yeah, look at that.
Alex seems way more thrilled about all these pictures than Christian
Yeah,
does.
that is absolutely.
And it's
true.
definitely Alex behind like the Brawl Dawn thing, so kind of.
I mean, you can look at how much each of them makes.
Yeah.
And you can understand why one of them
Someone-
is big into the merchandise.
Yeah, someone wants to
concept and
supplement
the other one's
their
like,
revenue.
You know,
Yeah, one's a national team player who's getting that funding, that revenue as well. So.
Okay, talking about Christian, the national team, I was really hoping that when Kellen Acosta went to Colorado, that his career would just completely tank and we would never have to talk about him ever again. But no, he gets better. He goes to Colorado and he immediately makes an impact and he scores 2 goals and he gets 2 assists and suddenly he
That's
seems
only
great
2
again.
games.
I know, but it's terrible.
While we're
Terrible.
while we're on the subject of Christian,
Yeah?
there was something interesting that happened post game. I have a pizza button on my phone now.
Pizza button.
See, look, it says.
Oh my
right there.
gosh.
See, it says
SonarFeed
pizza.
investigates.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
It literally just says pizza on it.
And there he is. He did an entire
been up there for a while.
interview with pizza in his hand. My guess is he also had that pizza while he was playing.
I don't want to know
My
where he
guess
was
is-
hiding it. Do
my
not want to
guess-
know where he would hide such a
pockets
thing.
on
There's
those
no
pants.
sounder more excited for Jovan Jones to not be there because it means that no one is trying to take his.
That was
pizza.
actually like my first thought when I saw it. I was like, who is he hiding it for? It's not from Jovan Jones.
Oh, it didn't go away.
No, that works better.
There we go.
Uh,
you just wanna-
Leandro Ladero?
There we go. You want to see that like
Is
that?
he a pizza thief?
This
Half
half,
weren't on our topics, but it's all good.
there we go.
That's adorable.
I like my pizza button. I'm going to hit my pizza button again. Pizza button.
I think someone really needs to make a compilation of all of the interviews that Christian's done that feature pizza because like there's a lot of them.
I think there are 3.
I think there's more than that. Like if you hunt for it, because I have documented.
There's secret pizza.
There may be. I cannot confirm or deny the presence of secret pizza.
Carrie wants to know if there are only 2 sizes of the shirts available. Is that correct? Did they sell out super fast? Maybe
I would direct those kinds of questions to the
Wait,
Brawl
what
Dons
sizes?
because
I
I'm
am-
staring here.
Are
They're
other-
the ones
but-
producing the gear.
I think the question was: are other people experiencing? Because it was framed: is my iPad being weird? Or so no, it's not just your iPad. It's the whole world's iPad.
Yeah.
We love you.
We'll check it. We'll check in with them at practice. I'm sure they'll be happy to chat about it.
I was going to make a head of the curve joke.
Or behind the curve.
I mean,
Sounder Heart gear comes in women's
I
cuts.
prefer the Brawl Dons not
And
having
multiple
a
X's.
size range to the U.S. soccer not having a size range. So where's the
or
T
a gender
here?
range?
By
Yeah.
Sounder Heart gear. Just saying.
We're definitely not going to talk about that one jersey that I had to buy from China because I wasn't going to spend $200 on a jersey that wouldn't fit me. And that the description said, show that you're a true fan by buying this jersey only made for men.
Are these the U.S. national team jerseys from like 3 years ago or 2 years ago?
No.
Or this year.
This year?
Oh, this year? Oh, okay.
They have 2 cuts available for women's jerseys. They do sell a men's cut for the women's authentic. So their argument that has been presented in the past that the only way we can have an authentic jersey is in the cut of the athletes is, well, it's incorrect because none of the women wear men's cuts.
Interesting.
It's yeah, it's really unnecessary. Like that, what they've decided that like the ideal women's jersey shape is, because like it's not like flattering to literally anyone. Like I've never seen anyone that can make that jersey work. I don't know why it's so low cut. I don't know why it's so like shaped weird.
That's a
women's-
U-shaped
the U.S.
one,
women,
right?
does
The
it have a
U-shape-
scoop or V
There's a scoop
right now?
one, and then they've done
The
V
current
ones, and like
women?
none of them are great.
True story.
Because even a men's 2X is athletically cut, which doesn't fit a woman who is a 2X with boobs and shoulders.
Do you
I
need
started-
shoulders? Are shoulders important?
Oh, wait, the clear
Carry the clear bags.
to
into
carry the
stadium.
clear bags that they make you take everything out of to walk through security with?
Straps that are too small to wear over your fat lady shoulders.
Yeah, okay, yeah, those bags. The great ones. Okay. Just making sure we're all on the same page. I started buying men's small jerseys, but it's really weird because they fit really tight in some areas, and then they're super loose in others, and also they go down to my knees. So
What?
it's really not ideal. Like, they literally just, like, go down mid-thigh. Like, it's
Why are
bad.
they so long?
I don't know.
That's so weird.
I'm not a man. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what y'all are doing with your jerseys.
I don't make them.
Not tucking them in.
No.
I have to tuck them in because they're so long. It looks very weird.
Hem. Oh, yeah. Hem them.
Hemp?
I'm not going to hem the jersey I just spent $120 on. Like, I'm not going to... No.
Go to a tailor and spend like $100 extra. That's what they want you to do.
Oh, yeah.
Support your
okay.
local tailor.
Yeah, I'll support my local tailor by then having a $200 jersey. Sounds good.
Sounds good, doesn't it? Don't support your local tailor, Twelman, though.
No, don't do that.
What?
I don't know. Air horn.
We got way off topic.
I just had to play the air
Yeah,
horn.
roll down jerseys, U.S. That wasn't on my list, Mickey.
Well, it should
I want to
have.
blame you.
Yeah.
Pizza button.
You're just enjoying this way too much.
I am.
Okay.
So we got LA this weekend.
Yes.
We got Zlatan and the Galaxy playing on Tuesday. So hopefully they will have a reduced squad. I think Alessandrini's injured too. So
Lettuce boy.
yeah,
Because he's Romaine. Get it?
Oh, yes, I got it now. Thank you. No, he was
No.
back last year. I think we tied them
We
last
tied.
year. Yes.
Okay, but this one should be way more interesting because, like, the Galaxy's not good, and we should win.
Well, their record's actually pretty good.
Okay, well, theoretically they're good, but technically they're bad.
They're a dumpster fire on defense.
This is really where I need,
That
like,
sounds
to
like
go
us, too,
Creed
to be honest.
Bratton and, like, do, like, www.creedthoughts.org in a Google Doc and just leave all these thoughts there.
Amanda, can I get one more margarita?
He wants one more margarita. Get somebody.
Also, this Saturday, what's important to remember is that it is Brian Schmetzer's birthday.
That is correct.
On Saturday itself?
Yep.
On Saturday.
This is so exciting.
58.
Wait, what?
50
There is a movement to, if you are in the Brome End or
just
GA
anywhere else and want to fun.
and want to celebrate Schmetzer's birthday, come in formal attire.
That sounds really good. I'm not going to do it,
Might as well.
but that sounds fantastic. I'm actually bringing.
Yes.
He's not wearing it to his wedding. He had to get the tux for something else. I don't know. I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I'm actually
What did
bringing.
you put on the screen?
Don't worry about that. That's not on the stream. That's the background. See, there you go.
Okay.
Fixed it. I'm actually bringing my youngest daughter, Mabel, for the very first time. This will be her first.
Nice.
By yourself?
Mabel.
I thought you brought the whole clan before.
She's not ever been to CenturyLink for a soccer game.
Is she going to wear a formal dress?
If
I know
by
you have
formal,
one.
if by formal
For
you
every
mean
kid.
she might wear a jersey that looks like
a dress.
like a dress, I don't know. But yeah, so I'm actually pretty excited because our seatmates gave us 2 extra tickets, so we're bringing her for the first time, Heidi and I. So I'm excited. She's the only of the 4 kids that I have. I think it's just 4 still. She's the only one who actually is
What about your rabbits?
actively interested in soccer. She'll actually watch the game.
Adam's very
everybody
distracted
else
right now.
Everybody else
As
leaves.
people mock him for his family size.
That's okay.
Well,
I'm
what
used
about
to.
the rabbits? Have the
Uh,
rabbits been to CenturyLink Field yet?
No,
Have the rabbits watched a soccer game yet?
they're outdoor rabbits. I don't have a TV outside.
Wait,
Bring your
they're out.
phone.
Wait, they're
Bring your
outdoor
phone.
rabbits?
Yeah.
They should come to Cheney.
Yes.
Little King Brian! I love Little King Brian.
Anyway, so yeah, so I'm looking forward to next week's game for that reason. She loves going to S2. She goes to S2 all the time. So it's gonna be fun. I think with all of the theatrics that go along with it, she's gonna be really excited for that.
That is August 18th, LA Galaxy. It's
Yep.
going to be a vital match. for the
79 and
playoff
sunny.
Yeah.
That's what JJ says.
run. It will not be sunny. I have a feeling the
What?
wildfire smoke will still
Yeah,
be consuming
the haze will-
79 and
skies.
smoky.
Okay.
It's just
Great
my goal.
sunsets.
My goal when I'm 79 is to be smoky.
You don't smoke now.
No, I'm just
You're going to take it up when you age?
yes. Because when I get to be 79, what the hell?
Yeah, at that point, yeah. You can get it that far. You
Oh.
can basically do whatever you want.
I just remembered a topic. There we go.
Yeah, what was the topic that you just remembered? Let's see if we
we'll
can
get to it in a bit.
Let's see if we can wing it. Should be an episode. That should be a segment.
That'll be when we have Henry
winging
on.
it with Henry Wingo. That
So you
Casey
mean
Catherwood
like
does.
winging it with Zakawani, like the
Yeah,
actual
but
podcast?
it would actually be funny if it was Wingo. Zakawani's name isn't Wing It. Wingo.
By the way, who
I
noticed that
absolutely
Steve
love-
Zakwani recorded some new tunes
with DeAndre?
with DeAndre?
Wait, what?
When are those going to get leaked?
I don't think they're going to leak.
I have them right. No, I don't.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm
Uh,
flying
So
to New
Ariel
York.
Castillo could only listen to them in her car.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I
I'm
think he's
flying
going
to
to do
New
like the
York to find
Beyonce
Ariel
style
Castillo.
album drop, and
Gonna
we're
go
not
sit
going to
in
get
her
any
car.
warning. It'll just exist.
Maybe if she drives here.
I feel like it'll be like late night Instagram stories.
Yeah.
That seems to be like a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and since he's out of town, he will probably be on social media more frequently than he is when he is in town.
Right.
So, yeah, we
On
have
the winging it thing, I would just like to say that every time Henry Wingo scores, it's a glorious day because then we get to sing his song, and his song's really delightful and dumb, and I don't think he likes it, but everyone else loves it.
WINGO.
W-I-N-G-O, W-I-N-G-O, and Wingo, what's his name? Oh. It's great.
Nice.
There's literally no flaws. In the beginning, you can be like, there was a sounder subbing in, or there was a sounder scoring goals. There was
No
a
fl-
sounder assisting goals.
I'm
It's
a
great.
big fan of that.
It's great.
Big fan. Big fan.
I got the wrong mic stand today.
Well,
Does anybody have a wrench?
Oh, is that all? I can fix it.
Yeah, fix it. Fix
Do
it while
you
you
have
go.
a wrench?
So, actually, one of the things I was going to say, back to speaking of S2 again, is I don't know if it's maybe because we're finally in the latter half of the season, but I felt like the broadcast was on your guys' part. It felt a lot better. Technically, from the back room, it felt a lot better. There were some small little things here and there, but overall, I thought it was a pretty fun broadcast.
I was ashamed of my broadcast because I had 4 D&D phrases I wanted to get in, and I got in
Didn't?
0.
Oh man, that's okay. Save
Take
them.
it,
Save
Dave.
them. Save them.
I've got a whole list of everything
Oh.
that I'm supposed to talk about.
Hey, Dave. Speaking of S2 broadcasts and S2 in general, is there something?
Well, that's on the list.
Is that on the list? Let's see if
Everybody
we can
who-
segue to it.
Everybody who listens to this show probably already knows about it, but Sounder at Heart turns 10 August 28th. We're going to have a party down at Cheney Stadium. Tickets are $33. You're going to be in Party Deck 1. You're going to have a 90-minute pregame barbecue. You are going to have a, all-inclusive beer, wine, and soda,
Oh, nice.
which
So $33 gets you free drinks,
ticket, food,
ticket,
drinks,
food.
I am
maybe
going to
some
have
bunnies.
them.
will there be
Stock up on
party
it.
hats?
We don't know quite what else will be there. There's probably going to be some stickers.
I want party hats.
There's going to be an appearance by the S2 broadcasters.
Yeah. So
That was really hard
Looking
for me to
Brian?
book.
Can we have Looking
Yeah,
Brian?
right.
we are
Other
working-
things that I have confirmed,
Looking Brian?
Who?
Looking
or
Brian.
I could talk. I
Little
don't
King
know.
Brian.
I just want
Little
to
King
talk
Brian
to him.
made a single game appearance, so probably. Oh, but I approached Coach Hutchinson about it.
About Little King Brian?
I was like, "Hey, can you show up after the game? We'd love to have you just do come up and shake a few hands and everything." He goes, "How about when the guys get done with their pregame training, I just come up and do a quick 10-minute Q&A?" I said, "Well, that's a lot better than shaking hands for 5 minutes." So
That'd be
cool.
that'd be
So
great,
yeah,
yeah.
he's going to come up and meet and greet. Wade Weber will probably do it too, because no.
We're working on
The S2 broadcast.
The broadcast-
The pre and halftime will probably be from.
and there's a small chance that Dave will also be broadcasting from there.
Okay, yeah, that's
We're working on that. It's
That'd be kinda
it's in
fun.
process.
I will have to have them in my ear.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got some plans that might actually work. I don't know. We're gonna play with that.
So we're gonna
It's
have a
not
lot of
guarantee.
fun.
It's gonna be a yabba dabba do time.
We're gonna have some early writers from the website are gonna show up that haven't written for the site in years. We're gonna have a little party. I'm gonna blame Mark Kastner for
With party
everything
hats?
related to Sounder Heart's 10th birthday.
I think that's a good
Because
plan.
he
That's
said,
a great plan.
"Is the birthday coming up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." And he goes, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Nothing." And he goes, "How old is it?" And I said, 10 years. And he goes, "You have a website that's 10 years old and you're not going to celebrate that?" And so all of a sudden, we're kind of going to blow out the celebration. So
So to recap. Come down to the game. $33 ticket. Free drinks. Some free food. Free drinks.
appearances by
Appearances
special Bull
by special
and
people.
Dave.
Will there be party hats?
There'll be party.
Jeremiah's coming.
Bread's gonna bring party hats.
Wait, should I tweet at Mark and tell him that I want party hats at the party?
Actually, yes.
No.
Yes.
Mark has no budgetary authority.
Well, I'm going to tweet at him anyway.
Okay, you can do whatever you want.
Go
It
fund me
won't-
for party
Party
hats.
hats.
There will, at this point, the more you say party hats, the less likely there will be party hats.
Oh,
Maybe they'll all be like yours.
Fight me.
The one you're wearing right now.
Party hats.
D20 party hats.
On ThinkGeek, I'm going to get a second one.
Nice. Clearance.
Are
on
they different
ThinkGeek.
colors or just the one?
This episode brought to you by ThinkGeek. Not really.
So, yeah, that's the Sounder Heart birthday. It was on my list, so I can cross that off
We
as
covered
something
it.
that we wanted to talk about.
I figured we were there.
It's going to be fun. We're going to go to S2. The reason we're going to do S2 is because, well, we've done watch parties before. And every time we do a watch party, the Sounders lose. It's not every time, but it's essentially like the record at watch parties is even worse than their standard road record. So we tend to not do them very often anymore. We had the 2-hour rain delay while we were at the World of Beer.
what game was that?
Columbus. We had a beer release party and T-shirt release party at World of Beer 5 years ago, I think now. And it's not called World of Beer anymore, but it is still a beer place. Yeah, they have food now there, and that was fun because that beer did well enough that Northwest Peaks brings it back every fall. It's called Cascadia Shale Ale, and you can get it at the Bergshond or at the Northwest Peaks Brewery. Pay attention to their website. It's really fun. It has 74 IBUs, 7.4% alcohol. The hops in this CDA are meant to evoke notes of pine, and the malt are meant to evoke notes of coffee. So it's Cascadia Shale Ale, and we made it with some specific intent to call out things that are important to the Sounders and Seattle.
Nice.
So that was the first beer that I ever professionally released.
Awesome.
Little distraction.
So there's a question from the
Okay,
chat.
cool. I will answer it.
Actually,
Or Mickey. Or
specifically,
Brad. Or Weigel.
Bread
Oh,
is being requested to answer first. One question, 2 responses. If you were an MLS executive at MLS HQ, at MLS HQ, and separately as an MLS owner, what would your hope be for the Columbus move and why?
Is this me?
I would like Brad to answer first, is what
Okay.
JJ requests.
If I was an MLS executive at MLS headquarters for the Columbus move, I think I would like Columbus to not move.
And why?
good answer.
Because it seems like the entire thing is turning into a lot of a dumpster fire, and I don't think that would stop if they moved. I think it would get amplified, and then everyone else would be crabby and make it dramatically worse. So I think it would be, and I have not been paying super close attention. I just see Mickey's tweets, so that's where I'm getting most of my information from. But I feel like if I was an MLS executive at MLS headquarters, I would want Columbus to keep Columbus and eventually Austin to get Austin, but not the two to intermix.
Let's go to Mickey real quick, and I want to ask him, what's the legal term for dumpster fire?
That's an excellent question. I don't know if I have an answer for that one.
Shitstorm?
Would it be PSV statements to the court?
Yes. Their lobbyist is a terrible, terrible lobbyist. Or he might be a good lobbyist. He's just terrible in front of a crowd, basically. Those lobbyists work behind the scenes. But once they get in front of council members, they tend to crack under the pressure, which is what their lobbyists did last week. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, Austin had their vote to try to approve the stadium last week. And a lot of questions were asked specifically about they were trying to pass off a bunch of money that they were going to, quote-unquote, invest in the Austin community as their academy team, which is required by MLS anyway. Every MLS team has to have an academy system.
They were calling the Academy of Investment investing in the community when it's really going to help
Columbus.
20
like 100
15
kids.
to 20 kids at every boys.
Yeah, boys.
Also, because they were asked about equality in the academy system, and they basically had no idea what that meant.
Yeah. So basically,
Are there? Who do we know of the teams, the MLS teams that do have girls' academies? I know San
only
Jose.
Dallas.
San Jose has
LA.
one.
The Galaxy and
Do they?
LAFC's has a women's academy in USSDA. I'll look up the women's USSDA while you
'Cause I
talk.
know
I'm pretty
San
sure.
Jose.
Well, I know Dallas for sure.
San Jose.
I think San Jose.
Because I know someone that played for them.
Yeah. In any case, there's not many.
Okay.
And so what happened when they went down to try to brag about all the money they were investing,
It's really a
several
terrible
of the
idea.
council members were like, so you're going to invest $36 million in boys. What do the girls get out of this? They did not have an
Nothing.
answer for that. Well, yeah. Well, their first answer was, oh, crap. And then they came back and basically said, well, we've reached an agreement with a local girls' academy to supplement their program.
So
and when
basically, we're going to throw money at the problem until it disappears, but we're not actually going to do anything about it?
Well, the other thing is they wouldn't even tell the council members how much money they were throwing at it. They basically said it was a private agreement between them and the local academy. And obviously the council members wanted to know, well, how much is this? Is it just like $50,000? Is this $1 million? And they refused to tell them. So when the council said, well, how can you have it?
$7.
Yeah, it could be just, equipment every year. And so when the council said, well, how do we know you're actually doing anything, and how can you justify spending all this money and calling it a community benefit when it only, supports boys? The pre-court lobbyist was basically said, all right, well, just take that away then. What? Take away $36 million that you were promising the community? What is that about? And then things kind of devolved from there.
Yeah, so I think scientifically that's called a dumpster fire.
Yes, it was a hot mess.
All right, I got the answer for you.
All right.
The MLS teams that operate a girls' USSDA, because they launched 2 years ago. I'm not counting NWSL teams that are affiliated with MLS clubs. That'll have a separate answer. But NYCFC, the San Jose Earthquakes, FC Dallas, and the LA Galaxy operate two of them because they have one in San Diego and one in LA. Also, the Portland
Counting
Thorns,
or raising your hand?
No, that's four clubs, five teams.
the Portland Thorns, Houston Dash, and Real Royals.
Yeah.
All-
Utah Royals. I think.
Utah Royals. Yeah, they all also have it.
So that's
they kind of count
three.
too because those organizations are so interwoven. A bunch of other, like the Spirit operate two academy, the Rain do one. So a bunch of the other NWSL teams that aren't affiliated have academies as well. But
Interesting.
it's interesting on the girls' side to not get too deep into this, but the girls' side of the academy scene is much more independent from professional clubs than the men's side, and it's not, or the boys' side, sorry. And it's not just because of MLS, it's because the legacy
Of women's leagues.
the legacy elite club teams for youth organizations have maintained a greater level of independence on the girls' side of the game than they have on the boys' side of the youth game. And part of that's because the number of women's leagues, but part of it is also because related to that, there's no NASL or USL or like there's not 10 NWSL
Nine.
teams. 9. That's right. They folded.
Boston.
Whereas in MLS, you've got 23 minus 3. Oh, wait. 2 of them play. 22 MLS teams that operate academies and something like 17 USL teams that operate academies. So within the official academy structure. There's, as is sadly typical in U.S. sports, there are more opportunities for males to go professional than there are for women.
So that's a pretty good summary. And
Also, Precourt's lobbyist is a dumpster fire.
it was
legally
one of the most crazy things I've ever seen. So anyway, they are going to vote next Wednesday,
August 15th.
to try to get the stadium approved
so like 2
again.
days.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Okay.
This thing has been delayed twice, essentially. So they basically said, we're doing this on Wednesday, up or down. We're getting rid. This is either we're going to approve this or we're not. We're not moving this along any
There's
further.
no more delays. Supposedly.
Yeah. I mean, who knows what could happen. But
They could decide to delay it again.
Yeah,
I mean, they kind of
absolutely.
did it that last time.
Yeah, they absolutely could. So there's a bunch of amendments that they're going to go over on Wednesday and vote them up or down. Stuff to do with the agreement. One of the things is the academy stuff. That'll have to get hashed out. So that is Wednesday, and then tomorrow in Columbus, they're going to be filing their first status report on negotiations. The judge is basically making them report every 15 days to see how the settlement negotiations are going. If the judge doesn't like what one party or the other is doing, which in this case is most likely MLS, if they're not cooperating.
This is a good faith negotiation requirement, basically.
Yeah, the judge is basically saying, you guys got to sit down and try to come up with a resolution to this case, one way or the other, which either means, you pay a bunch of money, you grant an expansion team, you let the crew stay, and you give Austin an expansion team. You got to figure out how much money that's all going to
You
entail.
force Precourt to sell
Yeah.
and have somebody who actually likes the community own the team.
Mm-hmm. So all of that stuff is, the judge wants an update on where that stands.
Is that the day you're going out, or is that...
Oh, no. This is tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll get a first. Unfortunately, it's going to be under seal, so nobody's going to get to take a look
It'll
at
leak.
it. The judge can open it up if he decides there's a cost to, and one of the sides requests it. So we'll see if that actually happens. What I was able to find out is that if the judge does not like how one of the parties, again, most likely MLS, is cooperating,
The two sides in this are
MLS,
City of Columbus.
yeah,
and-
State of Ohio / the State of Ohio
Okay, State of Ohio, City of Columbus
on one side.
on one side, and the other side is Precourt Sports Ventures / MLS.
Exactly.
But in some cases, Precourt and MLS may not have the same desires.
Yes.
Or some instances. I don't want to say case because that has a legal. But there are certain
They're
situations
there's-
where
yeah.
they might
Their
not,
interests don't align. Fully.
not 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if the judge does not like what one of the sides is doing as far as cooperating, the judge could force them to sit down and have a discussion with the judge. The judge could force the discovery process to start. The judge could also find one of the parties in contempt. I don't expect that to happen at the hearing or at the when the judge reviews the stuff tomorrow because it's the first one. But if again, this is every 15 days. So if in 2 more weeks he doesn't like how say MLS is
If someone doesn't make
cooperating,
significant progress in the next 15 days, that's where stuff like contempt might appear.
Yeah, it's not going to be this one because it's the first one.
Yeah, this establishes the baseline.
Yeah, exactly. See how things are going. So I doubt this one will be published because it's the first one, and the judge will give them the benefit of the doubt. But the next one,
Someone will leak it.
I hope so.
Follow Mickey for those
If
leaks.
you want to direct
Follow-
message me, please, please do so.
I can list the 3 people who are most likely to see those leaks in order right now. Mickey, Nippon. I think I've got his name.
Nipun Chopra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Probably the Andrew Erickson from the Columbus Dispatch.
I was going to say Kardik, actually, because there are some organizations that would appreciate his bent on these results. But sure, the Columbus Dispatch guy we'll be there. Hey, you did a GoFundMe to go
Yes.
to one of the court cases for the Columbus Crew thing.
Yes.
Which day are you going to see, and why is that one important for you to be present?
Okay, so yes, I did a GoFundMe, and I want to thank everyone for funding it. Megan here tossed in a few bucks, so thank you. And so I'm going out on the 1st of September after the Sounders game, taking a red eye, and I'll be out until the 5th. The hearing I'm going out for is the motion to dismiss, which is a big hearing because if MLS/Supreme Court win that, the case goes away. The case is dismissed. And so I wanted to go out for that and cover it because obviously it's a huge hearing. And people were nice enough to throw some bucks my way. So I booked a flight, got a hotel, and I'll be out there for 4 days. Got some.
Are you going to get a crew game in while you're there? Or
no.
are they on the road?
They are home, but it's on the 1st.
The day you.
Yeah, the day I'm leaving. I would have had to miss the Sounders game, and I would have had to fly out Friday, which is
Traveling to
too
Columbus
long.
sucks.
Yeah, you got to connect. Yeah, so that's gonna be a pain in the ass, especially on a red eye, which means I'm gonna get into Chicago at like 4:00 in the morning, and then have to wait a couple hours for my connecting flight to get to Columbus. So that's
They'll
not
have
gonna
like
be very
half
fun.
a terminal open for you at 4 a.m.
Yeah, it's not going to be.
And Chicago's one of the better airports for a 4 a.m. arrival.
Yeah, so I'm not looking forward to that so much, but it should be a fun trip. Got some stuff planned to meet up with some people. I'll just put it that way. And I'm going to meet up with the Columbus Dispatch, maybe do like a podcast or a Q&A.
That'd be good.
And then maybe do a meetup as well. And then cover the hearing on the hearings on Tuesday the 5th, the day after Labor Day, whichever day that is. And then I will stay until Wednesday.
The 4th.
The 4th, thank you. So I'll stay until the 5th, which is and leave late in the afternoon in case something crazy happens the next day
after.
Yeah, just to make sure I'm not missing anything fun. So yeah, it should be a good time. I'm looking forward to it.
So-
I want to thank everybody for contributing who did.
Mickey, I have a question. Are you going to meet with Marky Mark?
That was the other.
He's meeting with the Funky Bunch.
Yes. That was pretty hilarious. And the funny thing is, obviously Marky Mark's got more money than we'll ever see, but he's not.
Says you.
Yeah. Well. Yes.
Maybe all
I'll
of
put
us
another
combined.
GoFundMe together to try to get close to him. But the funny thing is, he's obviously richer than any of us, but he's not like billionaire rich where he could, you're right there.
I figured it out.
He's not so rich that he could afford to buy a professional sports team.
Like he's
And he has no
he's
connection
in
to Columbus.
He's in if he bought into the Crew, it'd be essentially like Drew Carey buying
Yeah.
into the Sounders.
Yeah,
No
exactly.
local connection, and you get up to 5%.
Yeah.
And
sure-
I don't think Mark Wahlberg has Drew Carey money anymore.
He's got a lot of businesses that he's running. He obviously opened a car dealership just now. Yeah, and hamburgers.
He's not a currently working. Oh wait, he made he acted in that
Royalties
Southie
from all of his
thing.
music.
Mile 22.
Again,
Yeah, that
he's-
stupid. His burger show was a reality TV show for a little while.
How many albums did Jim Carrey put out?
Drew Carey?
Him too.
I don't know. They brought Whose Line Is It Anyway back.
I know, but I mean, like, he's got royalties coming in from his.
Yeah, it'd be interesting
music,
to
too.
figure out which of them makes more. Price is Right and Whose Line Is It Anyway versus bad film that comes out every 3 years where you play somebody from South Boston every time.
Yeah, right. More importantly, I can confirm that Marky Mark has there's no interest in bringing him in as an owner.
Like, it doesn't matter because Precourt doesn't want to keep him in the... Like, if somebody had actual financial interest in... if there was a formal group with a near billionaire or more based in Columbus, maybe they reach out to a local celebrity or two.
Yeah, to just kind of add a little something, little seasoning.
Like Will Ferrell, for example. And that would help. I don't know that Mark Wahlberg would help in Columbus.
So, according to Emily's Googling, Mark Wahlberg's net worth is $225 million.
Yeah. Which is nothing to sneeze at.
Drew Carey's is $165 million.
Either way,
if Google
those are
is accurate.
nowhere near enough to get in on a sports franchise in the United States.
To Oh, Entourage production, that's actually a good one to make some significant... Yeah.
He's got a lot of stuff going on.
There was another interesting thing in the Save the Crew movement, which is an independent kind of fan-generated movement in the Columbus area. They don't have the finances, but what they do have is a lot of professionals willing to leverage their own skills. And their architects and engineers put together essentially the initial stadium plan like any expansion team or other relocated franchise would put together. It
looked great.
It is on par with the initial renderings that any team at the MLS level should expect. And it's interesting concepts. Like one of the things they do is they open up the one corner so you get the image of downtown.
Yeah, the skyline thing.
They keep the north end. They put the north end actually as a corner, but the Nordecke, which is the unified supporter groups of the Columbus Crew in the north deck, one of the major changes that the Crew made probably about 5 years into Crew Stadium's existence, they convinced all the supporter groups to be in the same area. And so they had that as a legacy. It's an interesting stadium proposal. I believe it's at savethecrew.com.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Or .org, one of those two dots. And it's a really interesting proposal. The only problem is
there's no money behind it.
There's no money. They don't have an ownership group. They are the people that that did the pledges that found that tens of thousands of people are willing to say they would buy tickets if the Crew would stay with
and
a non-pre-court.
Yes.
I mean, I almost signed the pledge, but then I realized they might actually ask for money, and I couldn't pay them. So the Save the Crew movement continues to grow. Its power in Columbus, I don't know that it actually has power yet, but it might have a limited number of influence. The more people that participate in it, the more likely it is that the city can find somebody. Supposedly, there was a group that offered like essentially half of what the Crew are estimated to be worth now.
Yeah, I think
Precourt turned it down.
Yeah, I think they offered half for like 50% or 49 or something along those lines. But anyway, it'll be fun to go out there and just check out the scene and see how people are taking the movement in. And Wednesday will be very interesting to see if they actually get the vote. Because if that vote does not pass, then all hell's going to break loose. Because at that point, probably MLS boots Precourt to the curb.
That's my dream. We have 4 topics on my list still. We have 17 minutes till we're supposed to end.
We don't have to.
Yeah, it's just no offense, Brad, you're not Jess Fishlock.
I know. What can you do?
Jess Fishlock, and then Damon Stewart is the second
Become
longest
Welsh?
we've gone. And we only got through like half of his history of grunge music.
Oh, jeez.
All right. Here are the 4 things we have left. We have an audience of 4. They're going to be responding. Maybe.
Hi, audience. It's really dark out there, but there's the
I don't
audience.
want to be on camera, dude. So the 4 topics we have left are Bread's 2019 plan, David Olson,
Half-baked, but it
2019
exists.
plan for life, or
the Sounders.
Oh,
The Sounders.
Her plan is go to UW.
it's pretty easy enough.
Go Dogs. Bow
It's funny because the
down
last time I was
to
on this show, I was
Washington.
pretty sure I was going to Stanford. So obviously that didn't happen in case anyone's
'cause
just
Stanford
now
sucks.
tuning into my life story again. So
They're
Dogs.
named after the way you count numbers. They are the cardinal, as in ordinal and cardinal numbers, not cardinal as in the color.
They're really
not
good at men's
cardinal
soccer, though.
as in the bird, but literally cardinal as in how you count numbers.
I went to law school, so I wouldn't have to
Stanford
count.
So Bread's 2019 plan for the Sounders. Interesting thing Dave learned about David Olson. All of Texas are assholes, or maybe just their professional sports teams, or all of them.
I think all of them.
And
Except
Weigel
those
reads
from
tweets.
Nagadoches.
Those are the 4
Yeah.
things we've got left.
Let's start with
to,
Bread.
Which one? Bread? Yeah, let's move. Tell us how you're going to take over the Sounders.
What are the Sounders doing in 2019? Let's go.
So this Google Sheets is called "I'm the New Garth Lagerwey." So that's how we're framing this. So basically, my plan was a lot of people had opinions and have opinions on how the 2018 roster was constructed, and now that we're halfway through it, what they would have done having hindsight. So I was like, well, I can put the 2019 roster together without hindsight, and we're going to see how it goes.
No.
Make hindsight, yeah.
Don't do that. That's bad.
Already did.
So that's really what we're doing here. So I started with the entirety of the 2018 roster from the beginning to how it is now, with your subdivisions for TAM and DP and International, and then all of total compensation, your min TAM money, your max TAM money for each player. And then I had to figure somewhere for how much you would have to be paying all of them plus jam to make it cap compliant, but I lost those in my backpack from school because I did them on like the last day of high school. I don't know, I was really bored. And so I took that and I then changed everything and put 2019 on it, and then I started pulling players out that I also went through and looked through transfer markets contract information, so who they say at the end of a contract, and then going back through the 2016 and 2017 post MLS Cup, these are the people's contract options that we're picking up, and kind of tracked that to fill in the blanks of who they didn't have, so I could figure out, because I want to do salary numbers to figure then cap and TAM and jam. So it's a lot.
What's your biggest learning from all of this?
My biggest learning is that it's way harder than it seems, but also it wouldn't be this hard if I had more information and actually knew what I was doing. So having to create half of the wheel is really hard, and also there are no rules and everything is a lie. Welcome
There
to
are
MLS.
no rules, and the points are made up.
It really, I have no idea what's going on half of the time, and so the tabs that I permanently have pulled up on my laptop are our roster that's broken into senior, reserve, and supplemental, and then the players' union salaries for 2015, 16, 17, and 18, and then MLS roster rules, and those are my most viewed pages. So it's fun times.
So what did you come up with?
So I haven't finished it yet, but who I have coming back right now, and you're free to disagree with this. So for forwards coming back, I have
stab you.
Bruin, Ruidiaz, and Morris. For wingers, I have Roldan, Alex version, Buona, and then I want a DP winger, and I want Kellen Rowe. And I think I want Harrison Ship.
What about Harry?
No, just Harrison.
Okay.
Harrison Ship, not Harry.
Harry, if you change your name to Harrison, you'll be more adored.
Yeah.
So those are the wingers.
Yeah, those are our winger-ish people.
Noticeable absence there is one Victor Rodriguez, or do you have him elsewhere, or do you have him
Actually,
not?
I
Which
do
is a
not
question
have
from the
him.
audience.
So,
That's a question from Mickey.
I love Victor
But I'm
because
just
he's
saying
real
we don't have them
short
together.
and real adorable, and his interviews are
Familiar.
great, and it's just great. He's just great, but he's using for TAM just every year for TAM money between $583,000 and $937,000 of TAM money every season. And your next highest person
Damn, son.
your next highest people are like Roman and Kim. And their max TAM is 100,000 less than his minimum TAM to buy him down to the player threshold.
Okay.
So Victor Rodriguez is incredibly expensive, and when he is on the field, he is pretty good, but it's the not on the field part that I'm concerned about, and he's not getting any younger. I think we could use that TAM money elsewhere, and it would be better served.
I'll be interested to see what his contract length is, because will be at the end of this year. He'll have been here for 18 months. they probably have an option or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So we need to know what guaranteed years he had on his deal, which we do not know.
That's the thing with MLS is you have no idea how long these people are here for or like what they're here for. You really just don't know.
Okay.
So
there's the wingers.
Yeah, there are my wingers. I'm working on central people because I feel like if Nico goes down, I don't know, man, and that's concerning. I don't think Clint Dempsey will be back. I think everyone's pretty confident that won't be happening.
Yeah.
So you've got kind of a hole to fill because I think you can count Clint Dempsey as a hole, even though he's not playing right now. And I want to see Wingo back, especially after S2.
Yeah. I don't see why they wouldn't bring him back. He's
No,
on the supplemental roster.
He's on the reserve roster.
Oh, reserve roster.
He's on the reserve roster. He can get some more time at S2. I don't think cutting him is a good option.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, he's not someone that I expect to have huge influence next season, but I think giving him another year, because I feel like not me, I don't know why I say we, but the Sounders have been cutting all of their young attacking talent other than Jordan Morris very early, and I don't know what's going on with that, and I'm assuming there's reasons behind that. But it's kind of concerning me because we don't have that one person that's on their way in. We've got Jordan Morris and we've got some 16-year-olds,
yes.
But we don't have those people in the middle. So to get that, we're either going to have to buy it in somewhere else
I have
and
a name
bring it
for
up.
you.
Is it David Olson?
No, we'll get back to that in a bit.
Okay.
Paul Rothrock, who is going to University of Notre Dame. He spent a few weeks this summer training with the first team and with S2 both. And S2 coaches have told me he is essentially a USL level Nico.
Then we should grab him. So, so the extent of my knowledge is we don't have many people in that age range that are on their way up.
You're talking 20 to 23.
Yeah, like that. We've got Jordan
From
Morris.
internal.
Yeah, internally, I don't see them. I don't know where they are hiding. So if they are there, they should pop their heads out and say hi. But if they aren't, then we're going to have to find them.
That's the only unsigned guy I've got in that kind of attacking.
So
yeah.
I'm thinking I want a TAM player, like a low-end TAM player, because we've seen a lot of...
Like Torres valuation?
Yeah, like you're not Victor Rodriguez, but you're not hitting. You're
not
a
Harry
low
Ship.
level. Yeah, you're a low level TAM guy.
That's going to be the $600,000 to $700,000 price rather than the $1 million.
Yeah, maybe even a little bit less. I just want something on that end because we've seen that the attacking band of 3 needs to be very fluid in how they play. Also, I just want to have someone that can slip in for Nico when necessary, or maybe throw him out wide. I want someone there because I feel like that's one of the things that I was concerned about going into this season. Okay, hindsight is here, but we didn't have, I feel like there just wasn't quality depth in the way that we set up our roster. There was depth, but when we had to use it, it really wasn't pretty. And if I still haven't gone through all of like the salary stuff, so I don't know if that's even possible, but that's what I want. So I want a TAM
I think it's possible
person.
if Dempsey's not back.
If Dempsey's not back, if
Victor-
Osvaldo
especially-
Alonso isn't back, if Victor Rodriguez isn't back, that's almost $2 million in TAM money right there. So you can fit in 4.
You can fit in a DP
4
level.
You can fit in 4 mid-range TAM players.
Or a DP and
But
2.
Yeah. So there's a lot more options when you get rid of those guys, even though we love them and what they've done for the club cannot be understated for some of those people. But you got to move on this season. This was their last hurrah.
One of Sounder Heart's highly, like somebody who writes even less than Brad does for Sounder Heart, is actually going to be writing about when athletes get old. And the inspiration is Clint Dempsey, Osvaldo Alonso, and Felix Hernandez. Because we're running into a time where some of the greatest players in the Sounders and Mariners organization are at their end. And it's, as somebody in his 40s, it's weird because athletes hit that time 33 and on usually, where
Yeah.
they age out. Heck, we even had Ichiro at the beginning of the year. So, sorry to interrupt.
So that's the midfield.
That's the central mids, so we're
Yes.
basically at fullbacks and center backs now.
And defensive midfielders.
Okay.
Okay, so defensive midfielders, I want Gustav Svensson back. I didn't think he was coming back,
Begging.
but then there was an interview with Steve Zakawani, and people were like, this sounds like a man that's coming back. And he seems to be really enjoying his time here and his teammates and the club. I haven't seen a lot from him that would suggest otherwise, but I have seen him fitting in really well with the team, which is helpful for that, I think.
Yeah, I don't think the reason he wouldn't come back would be because he doesn't like it here.
Well, I'm just saying the thing that we can see lead me to believe that he would be someone that would appear next year.
8 to 9 months ago, it was, I want to play my last years in Sweden. But I think now, based off of what he said to Steve, he might be willing to be here for 2 years.
And I think that would be huge because what he does for the team is important. And I don't think there's many people that you can get to do it with that quality at what he's making right now, which is a lot more than we had him for the first year. Because the first year we were only on the hook for like $150,000.
It's still only 300.
Yeah, it's
and
only
now we're
three,
only
yes.
at like 325-ish. So he does a lot for very little, and I think he's very important for the team. And then Christian Roldan, I want him back, whether it's... so if you're looking at like Kellen Acosta, he's around 300,000. If you're looking
I want
at...
Gustav.
What?
Gustav versus Acosta?
No, we're on Christian's salary.
Oh.
So I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know if the club's going to try to get him on a TAM deal so that he can drop it down, or if they're just going to have to go 400 with some jam, 350 with some jam.
He is a situation where you kind of want to pick up the GAM because...
That's what I was thinking, but I don't know. So I have him penciled down as GAM or
if you
jam.
triple his salary, he wouldn't be in the TAM range. Right? At
You
tripled?
Right now he's making $191,000.
So
thank
tripled in
thank
next
Christian
year,
Roldan when
he's
you see
right
him
on
for
the
doing
edge
what
of
he
that,
does
yeah.
for what he's paid.
So if they 2.5 times his salary, they can't use targeted allocation money on him. So that's
I
a
don't
case
think they are. But,
they wouldn't get approved
but
either because we
also
learned.
Yeah, we
Stefan
learned the hard way.
Fry.
That's going to be a tough
Stefan
one.
Fry makes $90,000 more than he does, and he got turned down for TAM by the league. So I don't.
Some of that was
think-
because they were essentially trying to game MLS's rules. It
Yeah,
wasn't that Stefan
yeah.
was going to make that much. It was more that they wanted to buy down his cap hit.
Yeah, to the minimum, probably.
It's,
Um,
yes, it makes sense why they would do it. It's just I
The
don't.
Fry situation makes more sense than
Yes,
the Joven
than-
situation.
Joven
Yeah.
makes no sense.
But that the Christian situation for next season is an example of why they want to find a way to get more GAM or general allocation money.
So
So is
selling
what's his contract status? Is he
It's
up
up.
after next
It's
year or
up.
this year?
this year,
The
Was it
best
free agent?
understanding of no,
no.
because it's MLS. He's not. Well,
No, why?
he is a free agent outside
Side of
of
the league,
MLS.
Yes. I think everyone knows that I love Christian Roldan.
Do you?
But I think from a roster construction and a fan making the fans happy construction place, and for marketing and just kind of everything that the club is doing, they want Christian Roldan and they need Christian Roldan.
Oh, I don't think that's a question.
Yeah,
at
like I don't think there would. Yeah, him. Yeah, he's. Yeah, there's no way we can get rid of him. We just need to pay the man so that there isn't an awkward spot where we are now paying him $500,000 less than he's worth, and it gets real weird. Like I don't want that to happen. I feel like we need to stay responsible with how much we're paying Christian and make sure that he's happy and getting what he's worth, and that be one of the players that maybe we could be paying him a little bit less, but we shouldn't because we want to keep him around for a long time. That's my position on Christian Roldan.
We still have 2 other position groups.
Yeah, I'm moving. I want to see Jordy DeLembe back if he gets his green card. I really liked what he did in Atlanta. I think he did really pretty well, and he's making very
makes
little
nothing.
amounts of money.
Makes
For
nothing.
some reason, he's on the senior roster, but when the players
I think
union
he's
came out,
25 now, right?
what?
How old's Dellum? I think he's like
I don't know,
25.
something like that.
So he
but-
might have aged out.
He's a little old, but
Yeah,
he's not going to
maybe,
be on
I
the
don't know.
reserve roster next
He was only making like 55,000 in May.
There's no reason
So,
not to bring him back.
if he can get his green card. That's the important thing for me, because I want to. So our international slots for 2019 I have is Kim Ki-hee, Kelvin Leerdam, Raul Ruiz, Gustav Svensson, depending on what his status is. I don't think we're going to see him getting a green card because I don't think he was intending to stay. And then Brad Smith for a portion of the year. And then I want a DP winger. It's probably going to be international. I want a TAM center mid, probably going to be international. And I want a TAM center back. We'll get to that in a second. But so those are who I want taking international slots. So Jordi Delem is not one of those people that I want to use one of our international slots for. Unless we could get one from cheap from someone that has no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, plus the international slot trade market kind of goes up and down.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it was like 150,000 slots were going for earlier this year, and then
when it's
cratered
a
and
half
now
season,
yeah.
when you can only use it for a half season, like obviously it's going to be less valuable. So that's what I want from. And yeah, that's what I want right now. And then right backs, I have Leerdam and McCrary. I have liked what I've seen from Jordan McCrary. He's not making a ton of money.
Again, there's no reason not to bring him back.
And he's only been here for a year, and when we've needed him, like he's gotten dramatically better than the first time I saw him, and I never wanted to see him again. Like when I see him in the lineup, I'm not terrified for my life.
Yeah.
So I want to see him back. At left back, I have no idea what the hell is going on, and I don't know what will be going on in 2019.
I think Francis is highly unlikely to be back.
Yes, I do not have him anywhere close to the team in 2019. But Nuhu, I really don't know. I don't think anyone outside of the club has a good idea of what's going on with Nuhu, because he hasn't been terrible. He's been bad at times. He's been good at times. He's had some issues at times in games with some things. But
he yelled at Stephen Fry.
Yeah, like it's iffy. And I don't know which you value higher. Nuhu, who's making...
Nothing.
He makes nothing.
I can't even find him.
Because he's not on the
He makes
senior roster.
$54,000 and is your starting left back. Or $750,000 in general allocation money. I don't know. So I think I would sell Nuhu and get that jam. But then you have to bring in more left backs. Because Brad Smith I have no idea what's
Brad
going on with
wants
that
to get
either.
that jam.
Yeah, I really don't know what's going on with Brad Smith. But,
that was
his contract is
a
an
bad
interesting
joke.
thing with how TAM works, and I was breaking my brain with that today. So he's making $600,000 for the year that he is going to be here, the season, how it's from now until...
12-month season, the year.
Yes, it's a
12-month
year.
Yeah.
And he's making around $600,000. So if that was in 1 year, your minimum TAM would be $200,000, and your maximum TAM would be $300. No, I can't do math. Buy down from 6 to 150.
450 or yeah, 450.
450. Yeah.
Ish.
So around his max TAM allocated to get him down to that that minimum cap hit. So the $150,000 on cap would be $450,000. But since he's here for 30% of the season this year, Jeremiah said he's gonna get around $250,000 this season. So technically, if you were gonna buy him down with TAM, you have to buy him down would be $0. But I'm assuming we're buying him the max that you could get him to hit 150 if you're counting his $250,000 hit this year is $100,000 in TAM.
Yeah.
See? And then if you spread it to next year, then next year he's making $350,000 for the time that he's here. And so his max TAM buy down would be $200,000 next year. So if you combine those, you get $300,000 to get him down to his cap hit both seasons for the time he's here. Instead of $450,000 if it was in one full consecutive season. Am I right?
I need some feedback
I was
right
told
now.
math would not be involved in this conversation.
Would people be following this better if it was written down?
Maybe, I don't know. Basically, if you take $600,000 that he's making, and he was making it all in one straight through season, so from March to October,
Yeah, it'd be $450.
it would be $450,000 in TAM that we could pay against his cap hit to get the same results as if it's broken down into the third of this season and 2/3 of next season. It would be $300,000 to get him to the same cap hit for both years.
Yeah, I'm following you.
So it's a very weird thing because if you only have him for a year, so if you're doing these kind of things like a loan from the Premier League for just a year, it makes more sense to do them mid-season to mid-season on a just player vacuum basis. You're going to save yourself $150,000 in TAM to get the same results.
Basically, bring in a EPL type player every July
Barely.
and have him for a year.
Yeah.
You'll save about $150,000.
It's just an interesting thing that I didn't catch until I was doing the math. And I don't think we've seen many loans like this. So I'm wondering if this is something that picks up, if we'll see them done like this for this reason. Okay, but moving on, because this is kind of getting boring. Left back, I don't know. Other than Brad Smith, I don't know if we're going to bring someone in. We're gonna kind of have to if we get rid of Nuhu, because we can't have one left back. We tried that at right back, and it wasn't going to go so hot. So left back is definitely something that I have no idea what's going on with, and I'll figure that out in the coming weeks. At center back, I'm going to say goodbye to the beloved Roman Torres.
He signed an extension, correct? Allegedly.
There was an Instagram.
Well, and Nico.
So just really quickly, y'all, we're having some stream issues, and so we're also getting to the end of our time. Okay. So
we're supposed to wrap up.
Yeah. Here's a quick update. FC Dallas is filing an appeal on the red card shown to Redo Ziegler.
Sorry.
So your dude slapped a guy in both ears with two hands. Not only is your appeal going to fail, you're going to have to pay the penalty for a frivolous appeal.
But my play guys said that it would certainly be.
I mean, Fox chose not to show that camera angle, but there is a
conclusive angle.
It is absolutely certain that he slapped Raul Ruidiaz on his right ear and then on his left ear.
And then he shoved a ref, so I don't know.
And he also got in physical contact with at least one referee. Dude is going to get suspended for multiple games.
But they need
Dallas.
Saturday. That's what the commentators said.
Well, they might need him or not. That doesn't matter. He is going to be suspended for multiple games. And if Dallas is appealing, they will lose, I believe the fine is paid in allocation money.
Interesting.
Well, that's rough.
And they won't be able to, they will lose, you get to appeal. Because if it's judged frivolous, they won't be able to appeal at all. It's not you get 2 appeals. If it's frivolous, they won't be able to appeal. And it is very obvious through other video evidence. The dude slapped a man in the head twice.
Do they go back on dives in MLS?
They do review, but they're normally just fined.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a red card for a dive ever. Yeah. True.
Yes.
That was Doug Robertson of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution did say you couldn't headbutt somebody if they were taller than you. That was supposedly why Joseph Martinez wasn't suspended. Which also means that Nico could never get a red card because he's shorter than
Neither can Christian.
Nah, Christian's about 4 inches taller than Nico.
Not that much.
How much will the Sounders fandom melt down if Ruidiaz does get a headbutt, fine, and
suspension?
Joseph Martinez did not.
Oh, it'll be terrible.
I've been told to stop tweeting at Dirty South Soccer mean stuff about Joseph Martinez.
Never stop.
I said I'm not going to stop at Atlanta United or MLS though. Oh well.
Should we do quick predictions for next week since we're done?
Topics we were supposed to hit on.
I want Sam Rogers on the reserve roster next year. I want a TAM center back. I want Kim and Marshall back. Chad Marshall never ages, and he's delightful.
I'm so looking forward to Chad Marshall winning the Chad Marshall of the Year award.
For goalkeeper, Stephen Fry. I think we're going to keep Brian Meredith.
No.
And I want Trey Muse.
I want Trey Muse too.
Okay, so I tweeted that the way that we're going to get Trey Muse is we're going to send Will Bruin, who went to his school, with a giant gift basket. And that's where we're going to get Trey Muse. And Trey Muse's dad name searches his son and likes my tweet. So I think, Garth, if you're listening to me, you got to send Will Bruin in the off season with a giant gift basket. Also, he really likes this one kind of ice cream, so maybe if you guaranteed him a lifetime supply of that kind of ice cream, that we could get him here.
Okay, so we've discussed Texas or assholes a little bit. We have two things that were on my deal. Weigel reads tweets. How many did you get?
No,
just the one I sent you?
We're going to skip them.
But I sent you a good one.
I know. We need to skip them. Sorry, guys.
All we got left then is Olsen and predictions. Do you guys want a preview of my David Olsen story?
Yes.
Sure. We've got a couple minutes.
All right. So David Olsen in the academy, you might remember, I've talked about this a little bit with Jordan Morris. David Olsen's junior year, he scored 20 goals. His partner as a forward was Jordan Morris, who scored 28. The next year, it was either 18 or 19 goals for David Olsen. Also as the forward, this time as the only forward, usually playing in a 4-1-4-1. Somehow, despite the fact that going into the NCAA tournament in his final year in the NCAA, where David Olsen led the nation in goals scored, the organizations decided that he is a midfielder. And so he hasn't played very well at S2. So finally, Saturday night, he's going to start up top.
This is exciting.
And he created some space. If you look at how he pushed the line, that gave Wingo the opportunity for those cut-ins where he got off several shots. And then Sam Rogers goes down, so David Olsen has to convert to a defensive midfielder. And this points out something about David Olsen in how he understands the game. Because there aren't many forwards that you could say, we need you to play as a number 6 now, and they would succeed. But the guy who trained as a forward, San Diego State, Seattle U, Sounders Academy, was a fairly effective defensive midfielder, doing better than the natural defensive midfielders that have come up through the academy and played there. Not the Narbonne or Sarri, but like the Tevez and Martin type guys. And then, unfortunately, did 2 tactical fouls, and so I asked a little bit. Normally, you don't ask for a positive review on a guy that got a red card, but I asked Hutchinson what all of that meant. And his response started with, Olsen is probably our most technically gifted player on S2. So, and then he said there's off-field stuff, and we're trying to put a lot of pressure on him. We're harder on him than anyone else. So, if you want a late bloomer who shouldn't be in college but still needs, I guess, tough love, David Olsen's the example of that. And I am still on the David Olsen has a couple years of MLS in him, essentially based off of Saturday night, where he played as both a forward and a defensive mid and got a red card and didn't score. And I think that's an indicator that he is better than his talent level at this time. That's my David Olsen story. I'm going to write stuff up about that soon.
All right, well, I think we're just about done here. Quickly, predictions for LA.
I think we're gonna win. I was gonna say Jordan Morris is gonna score a goal, but he will not do that. He's actually going through a quarter-life crisis and is wearing terrible clothes. He's wearing these weird, baggy shorts that then have elastic around, the knees, and it's just really weird, and they're, a weird print.
20 years ago, I went through a quarter-life crisis. I dressed exactly like I do now.
I don't know. He's wearing, weird, super extra,
terrible clothes,
graphic tees, and, he's just going for it, and he just needs to play some more soccer so we can get out of this rut.
We may see him this year. We'll see.
Yeah. AJ De La Garza, who got hurt last October, just played his first competitive match in USL, but he strained his quad and was out for an extra month, so he was on the 9-month thing. So
it won't be until October.
It would be November. Would be 9 months. So I don't think we're going to see Jordan Morris, but we love Jordan Morris.
I know.
Go Jordan Morris.
What's your prediction for LA?
We're going to win. We are going to win 3-0.
Woo.
We're at home. We should be doing 3-0. That shouldn't be a thing that we're concerned about. We shouldn't be concerned about giving up goals, and we should be scoring a lot of goals at home. And that's a standard that I want to get us to being held to. So I'm starting it now, and we're going to win 3-0.
Fair enough.
Weigel.
What was the question?
Predictions for the game.
There will be a game.
That's a solid prediction.
And the Sounders will win. And it won't be a tie.
You already said that B wins.